Alright, so we're going to show you your example for writing. So you guys are reading a book, or at least you should be, and you're writing a personal letter about what you're reading to a friend or family member. So remember, before you write, you're going to tell someone what you're going to be writing about. So that gives them that preview of what your book is. Make sure to include details from the book, and then you can send this letter or keeping. So here's our example. So our example needs to include a heading that includes the date. So here's my heading. So today's date is 4-3-2020. And then what else does it say? It says it needs to have a greeting that ends in a comma. So who am I writing it to? Well, I'm going to write it to my mom, since I have not seen her in a long time, since this quarantine. Then we have our body, or the main text, which is divided into paragraphs. So notice it says paragraphs. So what does that mean? It means we need to have more than one. So I'm going to be telling her about this book. So I indent, hit that tab button. Hi Mom, it's been a long time since I have seen you last. So let her remember, we're trying to make it personal so we can include information about ourselves. It doesn't all have to be about the book. What I've been up to during this time of self-isolation is reading one of my favorite books from when I was a kid. So the book that I'm reading about is this book. It is called Dealing with Dragons. So now I'm going to be telling my mom about that book because I read it last time when I was in 5th grade or 4th grade. And so now I'm going to be using those details to tell my mom what's going on in this book. If I haven't finished it, that's okay. I'm just going to tell her as much as I know. The book focuses on a princess called Cimarron. What's different about this princess is that she doesn't want to be a princess. She would much rather go on adventures instead of doing princessy things, as she calls them, like sewing and cooking. So how does she solve this? Well, before I tell you how she solves it, I have all of these misspellings. I'm going to go back and check them at the end. So now, how does she solve it? She therefore decides to run away. While she is looking for a place to stay out in the mountains, she comes across a cave. It turns out to be a dragon's cave. And then we have this next part. Normally in the story, dragons would eat princesses. But the cave that she stumbled upon is Cazelle's dragon cave. Cimarron impresses Cazelle with her knowledge that most princesses don't have. What keeps Cazelle from eating Cimarron is that Cazelle loves Cherries Jubilee, which is a kind of dessert, which Cimarron says that she can make. So she's going to be making these Cherries Jubilee, and so then the dragon won't eat her. And then what happens next? One day, while she is making Cherries Jubilee and cleaning up Cazelle's cave, a wizard appears and starts snooping around the trail outside. The wizard starts asking lots of questions that make Cimarron uncomfortable. Like maybe he is plotting something against the dragons. When he hears that Cazelle might be returning soon, he says that he'll be back, but to not tell Kazul that a wizard visited. And that's where I left off in my story. So now what I'm going to go through, since the letter we want to make sure it's as nice as possible, we're going to check. This is how we spell her name, so this one is correct, but this one is not. So I right click and then change it to wood. Princessy is a word they made up for this story, so it's an ignore. Dragons is misspelled though. Princesses is misspelled. That is misspelled. Remember, this one is made up for the book. Her name, Cazelle, is correct. That's the name of our dragon. Alright, Jubilee needs to be fixed. Uncomfortable needs to be fixed. Except I picked the wrong word. Snooping needs to be fixed. Alright, that's it. So, we've now done this part. We've done the greeting that ends in a comma. We've made paragraphs because it says more than one. And now we need a closing followed by a comma and a signature. So closing is, what are you going to end it with? So if you're writing it to a friend, you put your friend. If you're writing it to your mom, you can put your son. You can put sincerely. You can put something like, love you always. But it's just, how do we close that? And then it says with a signature, but since we're typing it, we're just going to put our name. Alright, that's it for this part. Good job, guys.